Hey everyone, it's been a long time. I know I've neglected this channel, and so many of you have left some kind comments or questions inquiring where I've been, if I plan to post any more videos. And I've always planned to do more YouTube. And of course, last year we had a big transition. We moved. So if you've ever moved with kids, you know how challenging that can be. But enough about that. I know you're here to see planners and art journals. So this is my beautiful, both of these covers are made by Boho Cottage on Instagram. Kat, she is my bestie. So one of the perks is she makes me beautiful things. This one we actually made together when I visited her earlier this year. And it houses my Hobonichi Cousin. This is just a jelly print that I pasted on there. Houses my Hobonichi Cousin. This is an avec, so it's a half year, which is great because as you can see, it gets really thick. And this is my second year using an avec. And then this is I think you pronounce it Leuchtturm, and it's more just kind of collaging things in. And I'm still getting through it right now, so I don't use this one every day, but this one I do. And then this beautiful planner or cover is a Cantha fabric cover for my B6 Stalogy. This is totally new to me, this size. I've heard a lot of people rave about it, so I thought I'm going to try it. And I use this every day. And even though a lot of people joke that why do we even have planners with the pandemic and the quarantine, it's been so nice to have this. And I like that I'm documenting a lot of things that I might want to remember later. This is from Odd Girl Journals. This is like a zipper pouch that holds ephemera. And this one, I just have my monthly calendar in it. But this one is probably pretty underutilized right now because of what's going on. This is housing my most used ephemera, or just, when I want to sit on the couch. It has a bunch of ephemera in it. I made this pouch last year. It's, I guess you call it like a quilty, it's a sewn pouch that's I'll show it to you at the end. Okay. In addition to those planners, I am using a Hobonichi Weeks and this would be a standard narrow traveler's notebook just to journal. I don't plan on showing it to anyone, but it's more just straight up journaling when I have something to say deep that, the other stuff is more little snippets of my life. The Hobonichi Weeks I used to use religiously. I've used this, I think this would be my 4th year. And in the past, my weeks have always looked like this. I always write what I have to buy, who I have to contact, what I have to do, my work schedule, everything. But then as the pandemic started, I just didn't need it as much. So I still write if I have interviews for work. I'm a journalist, so we're doing a lot of Zoom interviews. So I still do that, but it's definitely, I'm not using it as much. Okay, so why don't we start with the Hobonichi Cousin. Okay, again, this is an A5 size, so this is the biggest size. And, okay. All right, I'm going to do a flip through. I have a feeling I'm going to have to split this video up. So consider this part 1. All right, let me get it. Let me try to zoom you in a tiny bit. Okay, there we go. I hate watching videos and you can't see anything. So, okay, so this was my beginning, the Hello 2020. This is a scrapbook paper from 1-2 Canoe, and then I kind of wanted to mimic the feel of this side over here, so I did that with watercolor. You'll see I use a lot of watercolor in my Hobonichi because it takes the wet media so beautifully. It crinkles the pages, and then this says here, the art of living begins with being aware and looking up in order to truly see and experience the beauty that is already right in front of you. I love that. I thought that was a nice reminder. All right, my one little word this year is make. And it was meaningful to me because I love the idea of being able to make your life the way you want it. Like you can create your own destiny kind of thing. So I also wanted to focus on making my house more of a home. You know, we moved here at the time. We were just in our house a few months. So I wanted to focus on that. I wanted to make home cooked meals, make more art that feels authentic and joyful, that kind of thing, and make memories and make new friends. So I thought this word is perfect. And this is some ephemera from, I think it was, what is it? Gosh, that magazine, Bella Grace. Bella Grace is awesome. So I took this hand that was holding something else, and then I cut this thing from a book that I have. Okay, I am content. I almost picked content as a word. Let me pull my thing away so you can see it's better lighting. So I almost picked content as my word of the year because I really wanted to focus on just being content with what you have. You know, I think it's really peace at the end of the day. So I wrote about that. And I just wrote some quotes that I had read. It says, contentment means you are here, satisfied with the past from which you grew, satisfied with the future to which you are going, sitting and fully being in the grace of what surrounds you and lies inside you now. So I love that. That's a picture of my family from our Christmas card. Then it snowed. That was our first snow after moving. I live in the Northeast. I live in Maryland. And it was such a mild winter. So it was pretty magical to have some snow. I wanted to focus on being more mindful with my purchases. And so I say this a lot in my head. I say you have enough because, you know, I do. We all do probably, right? But then I sketched out this sugar, what is it? A sugar holder that I found. I'd been searching for one for months and I resisted buying things that would have worked, but wasn't what I was looking for. And then I found this beautiful sugar holder of all places in Walmart. It's like a mint green and it looks like milk glass. It's not, but it is glass. So it's like substantial, you know, it's heavy, not plastic. And it was only $6.99. So I talked about how it's so satisfying to find something that, to purchase something after waiting for a while. Okay, then I was back to the General Assembly. Again, I'm a journalist, so I do work at the legislature, the state legislature, they're only in session for 90 days. So during the 90-day session, I just go once a week. This one, if I recall, I wrote down a bunch of things I was kind of worried about, thinking about. It was on my mind, but then I wanted to get it out of my mind, so then I used acrylic paint and gesso over it and just collaged this woman on some rocks. And then I think this was like that really thin see-through like onion skin paper. And I drew on that. This was when Meghan and Harry were making their royal exit. It was dominating the headlines. And, you know, at times I felt bad for them. And at other times I was, you know, I was feeling judgmental. Like it was interesting how everything played out. So I wrote about that and how everyone's obsessed with them. This one, oh, how I love the gift of an ordinary day. I quote other people and I was like, I'm going to quote myself. I think it's such a blessing to be able to have an ordinary day of just, you know, cooking and taking care of my family, that sort of thing. Norman has, maybe you saw this on Instagram, but ever since we moved in, we have a red cardinal that comes to visit us. And at first I thought how charming, how beautiful, because he's really a pretty bird. And I love birds. My husband and I love birds. However, Norman pecks on our window incessantly. And then he started pecking on the front door windows. And then he has gotten to the point where now he's sitting on our cars and pooping all over our cars. So Norman is no longer wanted around here. And this week, ironically, so this is about roughly 5 months after doing this, I bought some owls and I put 2 plastic large owls, one on top of our car, my car, and then another in right near the window. And we haven't seen him in about 3 days. My son was like, maybe he got the coronavirus. I have no idea, but for now, he's not visiting us. So we're happy about that. For work, I went to the Edgar Allan Poe house. It was it was his home in Baltimore. And apparently it was where he first found some success as a writer. And it was really a beautiful house. So I wanted to write about that. This is more, I guess, about the things that I was loving. Be a looker and seeker. That's a quote by Samantha Dion Baker. She's a beautiful artist who came out with a book this year. I think it's like Draw Your Own Day. So this is kind of inspired by her, but I got a Yeti mic for work so I can do my voice work at home. I resisted buying a hat that I wanted, but then I couldn't resist buying Breathe magazine. And then I've had a great creative week, but it came at the expense of my sleep. This is my Yeti tumbler that I still use today, and I love. I had a UTI, so I had to get a prescription, and then Snuggle Bunny Friday. I wanted to remember that. My boys and I, we do a sleepover on Friday nights, and we've been doing it for years, and it's super fun. Then I've been working on my girls for years. So sometimes what I do is, no, this one was actually drawn in here. Sometimes I'll do it in another book and cut it and then put it in here. But this one was actually done in here. This is an image from, I think it was a calendar I had. It's a daily calendar, and they have these really beautiful images. And so I fussy cut this out, and then I watercolored the back and put a quote back there. These are just things I wrote. I want to finish the guest bedroom, buy a treadmill. Like, these are the things I just wanted to kind of get out of my head. This is from I'm sure a magazine of some sort. And actually, and then the flowers, I just used some gelatos to color. So if I want subtle color, I can show you. If I want some subtle color, I use these gelatos. They are wonderful. I know some people don't like them, or they don't know how to use them, and I don't even know if I'm using them entirely correctly. But what's great about them is if you want subtle color, you can just rub it on your finger and then rub it on. There we go. You can probably see that. And rub it on your paper. If you want more saturated, darker color, you can do it directly on the paper. And then you can even put, a watercolor brush on it and spread the color out. But I use these all the time, and I love them. Okay, hold on. Okay, it's still going. Sorry. This is the week I went to go see Kat, my best friend, and thank goodness we did see each other because, this was still January. We did not know anything about coronavirus at that point. So we spent a glorious, I think it might have been 5 or 6 days together, and it was amazing. We made all the things. We ate all the things. It was exactly what we needed. She has chickens, and they fascinated me, and it was awesome to have fresh eggs. We had boba tea. Her husband is a chef, a fabulous chef, and he made handmade apricot scones, which I'll never forget, with yummy butter and jam. And then we made a lot of things, crisscross aprons, like Japanese style aprons. And then we made this cover together while we were there. It was mostly her, but I like to say I had a part in it. And that's me and Kat. And then we went to this coffee shop on our last day called Crazy Love. And I wanted to try my hand at urban sketching, which is kind of just sketching what's around you. Not everything, but more like focusing on a little area. And I'm not good at it at all, but I wanted to try it, and it was fun. So this is just a quote. If you have good thoughts, it will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely, by Roald Dahl. Next month, I'm trying to do this every month, which is just kind of write a list of things I want to focus on next month, and then my monthly wins. This one, I took this idea from Helen Holbrook. She's a really beautiful journaler and illustrator, and she has a book out and a line of products out. And she does this. I can't remember what she calls it though, but where you just take stock in all of the things that you're proud of or happy about, you know. And for me, I think it's so good to focus on the wins because, you know, when you really look at the big picture, there's so much that we can be grateful for. So, I mean, and they can be simple things. Like this one says, our utility bill is lower. Our gas and electric compared to our old house, it's insane. Like right now we pay, even though this house is way bigger, we pay like $150 a month. In our last house, we were paying like $500, $600 in the dead of winter, that is. So I did less mindless spending. I traveled to see Kat. I returned to the legislature. That was smooth. I've prioritized being creative again. And, you know, all of us, just a whole list of things. So, okay, so now we move into February. I think I'm going to stop this video as we get into March, because that's when things changed, obviously. So this is an image by Ellie Halprin, and I bought one of her calendars. It was like a desk calendar at Barnes & Noble, and she's a beautiful artist. So I just cut out her horse, and then I watercolored the background, and voila, then you have a cover page for February. This one, I just love this quote, emotions are like buses. There's always another one coming around. So I was just trying to think of an image that would go with that. This one, this is my friend Lara, who I would say I'm not very good at drawing realistic images, but I'm trying to draw people more. And I went to visit her. She's a high school friend, and we totally connect. And she's a lovely person, and I loved spending time with her. We don't get to do it very often. We met up at a Jenny Bick, which is a beautiful, it's a journaling shop in DC. She lives closer to DC. I don't. So anyway, we don't get a chance to see each other, but we had a good time. And then I just like this quote. This is a season she will make beautiful things, not perfect things, but honest things that speaks to who she is called to be. Morgan Harper Nichols. This is really resonating with me because this year I really am focusing on what makes me happy. Let me try things, even if they're not, you know, even if they're not great. This one, I was at the library and I was having the best day, and all of a sudden this guy like violently sneezed and scared me. So I just wanted to remember that. Then our power went out randomly all day long. It was some type of accident down the road. So I went to Starbucks and actually ended up having a good day. So this one is more of a catch up, what we're eating. These are all the things that we're eating. I think one day I'll enjoy seeing the kind of stuff that we made every day. It's always a mix of Italian stuff, Japanese stuff, a lot of, tacos. I mean, it's all over. And what we're watching, we were watching Aaron Hernandez documentaries, CBC News stories on I-Team investigations. As a journalist, I love I-Team, meaning investigations, where they expose people and companies and that kind of thing. Dave Ramsey, debt-free screams, art journaling videos, and more investigation stuff. What I didn't buy, I think sometimes it's fun to document what you didn't buy because it's in some strange way I feel satisfied looking at the list and why I didn't spend the money, and also even just drawing it is satisfying. So I didn't buy this convertible backpack that I really wanted because I have enough. Instead, what I did buy is these leather high top wedge sneakers that I had been searching for a while, and they were only $29, and I love them, and I still love them. Then my husband's Aunt Eve, died, and so we went to Pittsburgh to celebrate her life. She was 92 years old, and she was so beautiful and elegant, and she was like the matriarch of their big Italian family. Her son is the mayor of Pittsburgh, so it was a really beautiful celebration. This side, yeah, she was such a good homemaker, so it kind of inspired me to put this together. The quote says, "The most important work you will ever do will be within the walls of your own home," by Harold B. Lee. This is just an old Project Life card. I save a lot of stuff. I've given away a lot of stuff too, but it's so satisfying to use things you've saved for a while. This one says, "When life feels too big to handle, go outside. Everything feels smaller when you're standing under the sky," by L.R. Nost. And then everyone was getting sick at school, at the middle school. And then I think I felt like all of a sudden my throat felt different. I literally knew the moment I got sick. It was really strange. Has that ever happened to you? So I was just like, no. And I was taking vitamin C and, eating grapefruit. So, and then we move into Valentine's Day. I was kind of joking that these are the candy hearts that I want. Sleep in, let's make art, I wash the dishes, and laundry's done. And then on this side, I went to look at homes with my sister-in-law. And then we watched Harriet Tubman, the movie. It was so awesome. And I just wanted to, this is a quote by her. "Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." It's really remarkable to think about what she did under the circumstances, Where's Winter? This, again, we had a pretty mild winter. And so I was writing down the different factoids that I'd heard, that the average high temperature was 54 degrees in Maryland this winter, which is more like Atlanta. We only got 0.6 inches of snow. The lowest temperature was 22 degrees at the airport. And so they're saying that this is because of global warming, obviously. Then we got sick. My son got strep throat. And then I thought I must have it because I got sick. But when I went, it was bronchitis. And this is so rare. I know this is hard to believe, but so my younger one's 7 and my older son is 12. We've never, ever, ever gotten the flu, strep, bronchitis. Like, we've never gotten anything before other than a cold. In fact, our pediatrician was like, "Your file is so thin." We just go for the annual checkup and to get our winter flu shot. So other than that, we had never gotten anything. So we did, which, in retrospect, you got to wonder what it was. But this is my 7-year-old's picture sometimes. So as you could see, I used to always art journal about what we did that day and something related to that day. And I don't do that anymore because that put too much pressure on me. And sometimes I like doing like 2-page spreads, for instance, because then you don't have to fill both sides up. Like, I do get behind. I try to stay up on it, but I can't do this every day all the time. So if I have a blank page, I'll put in someone else's artwork, or my kids' artwork. This one is about that day. It talks about my son going back to school. I went to Annapolis, and then I was talking about the tea that I'm really liking right now. Homes. I have a thing for homes. I just love images of homes. Then we got a new garage door, which you're an adult when you get excited about a new garage door. But ours was already on its last leg when we moved in here. So we got a door that's insulated. It makes a huge difference when the boys are playing like baseball inside the garage, when they're using the tee, batting off the tee. I mean, it's like a full 10 degrees warmer. So super happy about that. Then the founder of Trader Joe's died at 89, and I wanted to pay homage to him because we love Trader Joe's. These stickers are from my beautiful friend Lisa Hoffman. It's her illustrations, her watercolor illustrations she made into stickers. She's on Instagram under Lisa Hoffman. And then I gave up sugar for Lent, and I was like, why? Why did I do that? This is so this is so painful. And this shows you how I don't keep up with my pages, because if you notice the date, it's 2/25. And Lent actually started on Ash Wednesday, 2/26. But so I didn't actually give up sugar till 2/26. But when I went back, I just forgot. And so I ended up doing this. And then Lent comes out. Then I got some jelly. What are they called? Jelly. Let me see what these are called. You know, those jelly roll. That's jelly roll pens that I love. I use these every day in my Stalogy. So I have a whole set of them that I love. So I keep them in here. And so I wrote, there are some things that are better than flowers because I was so excited for them. This is about next month, things I want to accomplish, some of the headlines in the news. So I wrote, everyone is bracing for a coronavirus outbreak, but flu threat is what's really worrying parents at school. And then I talked about Bernie Sanders, talked about the former Baltimore mayor was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. So just wrote a few headlines, and then this was this month's wins. Lena got an attendance award. We took off we repainted our guest bedroom, and it looks amazing. Both Lena and I got sick, but we got better very quickly. We got a new garage door. We had such a mild February, got to play outside. I paid off our dentist bill, that kind of stuff. Oh, and now we get into March. Okay, I'll make this a separate video. So if you want to check it out, look out for it. Thanks so much. Bye.